What's good, gamers? A lot of people have been coming into my stream for the last couple weeks asking me if I have a build ready for Talandre, and of course I do. And I'm sorry I didn't put out this video a little bit sooner. I've been doing other things, focusing IRL and playing other games, but we're back. We're going to be playing Talandre in tier 2, and I'm here to give some advice to you staff Dagger players out there of what builds you should run based off of my experience and my personal playstyle, as well as to bring some attention, because it doesn't seem like a lot of people are paying attention to some of the changes that have happened in the game to some of the items. Now let's go ahead and get into that real quick. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about in this video is the Eban Soul Staff. A lot of people have been asking me if I'm looking at Daggers or I'm looking at one of the two lightning staffs, and honestly, unless you're a PvE player, neither of those staffs compare to the Eban Soul Staff. Now, just yesterday, there was a patch in Korea which changed the staff, where it used to be 13 wisdom, I think 160 crit or 140 crit, and 1200 or 1600 max mana into perception and max health instead of the crit and max mana, which is massive, and it allows you to hit a lot more breakpoints. Now, you'll be able to get this staff super early on into Talandre. This is part of the tier 2 dungeons, so as soon as we get in there, you'll pretty much be able to use your pity boxes to craft the weapons that you have saved up. And I know that we have Burkant's daggers in here, but you're just gonna get Burkant's when you get the chance to. We're gonna be using obsidian until then. It doesn't really change the build at all. We're just gonna put 1 point out of wisdom and put it into dexterity. It's the same thing. Now, I wanted to hop in game real quick just to show you about what it's gonna be like with the Frost Smokescreen route. All of my footage on Korea has essentially pretty much been lost now, as they were Twitch VODs and they've expired. But the skill width stays the same regardless. But instead of it being a fire smokescreen or a normal frost smokescreen, you know, you can see this is the entire area there, and you get 2 of them. You know, so you could place 1 here and you could place 1 here, and then this entire area for the next 4 or 5 seconds is going to be a rootable area. So you can use this to follow up CC like sleeps. You can use it to follow up stuns. I'll show a clip of Korea of me following up a big stun and we completely wiped them right after. It's absolutely massive, and on each one of these choke points you can see how much room this is actually taking up, right? Like, no guild is going to push past this without getting rooted over and over and over again. And if you happen to run into it and then you're rooted for 1.5 seconds and you walk out and you panic and run back in, you're rooted again. So they could actually be rooted for 2.8 seconds off of 1 ability. Keep in mind, you're getting 2 casts of that ability. Obviously I have fire smokescreen because I'm using DankRNG staff, but you're going to want to have easily 30% to half of the staff users, not just staff daggers, this works well for a staff wand as well, running this Eban Frost staff, because it is insane utility. Here, I'll go over to the castle and I'll show you the exact same thing. Every single point in the castle fight is a choke point for this staff. It's absolutely insane. Whether the walls are open or not, as you can see, it's going to be this entire doorway. If the walls bust down, you're still doing it's still the entire doorway, like the entire broken area. Like, nobody's getting past that. It's the entire width of a staircase. Like, people are sleeping on the Eban staff, and if I did not have a DankRNG staff, I would 100% be using it. I used it on Korea for about 3 months before global launch. Like, bro, you're holding off this entire choke point. People aren't jumping over this. You know, they're not taking the time to do that in the middle of a siege. You know, they're just going to go through that choke point and they're going to get absolutely annihilated. Each one of these doorways just absolutely annihilates people when they try to go through it, right? They're coming up from these sewers, bro. You're not getting in through there. It's the entire AoE. Even these doors, this side right here, obviously you're going to need more than 1 person to cover both of these, but realistically you would be casting it here and not on the stairs anyways, so that anybody trying to run into the throne room is being rooted, unless they're noticing with all these other people around, they're managing to notice the frost on the ground and push through it. Like, You have to have tons of these in your guild, bro. This is going to be make or break in large scale PvP. We're talking world bosses, we're talking Rift and Boonstone, we're talking Siege, like absolutely insane. And I would even use this in arena. It's great for if a melee user is on you, like, and you're using your mobility ability to get away. Not only are you moving, but it's also rooting them for 1.5 seconds, which gives you more time to create some distance and get away from them, or cast a spell while they're just sitting there rooted. Whatever you want to do. Do not sleep on that staff. I know we kind of rambled on about this for a while, but I just feel like people are not giving it enough love, man. Now, it does say that arc boss weapons from Talandre and Tevent have been buffed to remain competitive with tier 2 equipment. I really think that this is just talking about them taking the weapons from level 9 to level 12. I don't think that this is a stat buff like the Eban Soul Staff got of getting perception added on and max health. I would really hope that that's what it's going to be, but I really don't think it is. If it is, come by the stream, you know, check the description down on the bottom. We might have some updates to the build. If not, we're just going to keep running what we have planned. But all right, moving on to the rest of the build. You know, we have an evasion based build for those that want to just stack high ranged and magic evasion. You're at 2600 ranged and magic evasion here. Of course, you're going to gain 1060 magic evasion from your 2 buffs between Shadow Walker and Victorious Energy, and you'll still be gaining 690 ranged evasion from the Shadow Walker, right? Sorry. This is a really well-rounded build, and if I did not have any arc boss weapons, this is exactly what I would go for if I did not want to run the triple evasion build, right? The triple evasion builds, I'm a little on the fence on them, but it's still going to work out well. We're still going to have, with our both buffs up, we're going to have over 3,300 magic evasion, and we'll be at 3,000 ranged evasion while still maintaining around 3,300 melee evasion. Right, this is going to be very big. Now in this setup, we're running the 2-piece Wildlands Protector and, or sorry, the 4-piece Wildlands and the 2-piece Abyssal, whereas in the other setups we're running, you know, either shield penetration chance in this one, or in this one you'll see I'm running the full Abyssal Beast to get the extra range, right? Because if you're running arc boss weapons, you're going to want to have the most range possible. This build is going to have the most crit damage. You could also opt in the masteries to try and push for 80 dexterity, although I feel like that's just something that's not worth it in my opinion. You should just go for the evasions. Evasion is going to be so big for a staff dagger user, and you're already getting at max range, you're getting 40% crit damage out of the wing set. As long as you're at max range, you'll always be getting 15% crit damage, whereas this build here, the most that you're getting is 25% crit damage added, and that's if nobody else is around you. And as a staff dagger user, you're typically, you know, dashing in, dashing out, there's people around you left and right. But this is still a very solid setup if you want to go more of a magic and ranged evasion focus. I would recommend running one of these 3 builds. These here are just different variations of these same builds that you just saw, using arc boss weapons to give people that have arc boss weapons kind of an idea of what to do. If you have any more questions, definitely check me out on Twitch. I'll be streaming Talandre. I'm going to try and work on my alt, so we'll be doing a nice hefty long stream tomorrow. And yeah, drop a comment. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.